A massive crisis is happening in Iraq and it's threatening to tear the country apart. If you're watching this video, you want to know what's going on, and I'm going to tell you. I split this video into sections so you can decide what you want to know more about. There's the who is fighting, the Kurds and the KRG, Syria, and the West. If you want to see them all, just keep watching the video. Iraq is in conflict with itself. The sectarian differences between the Sunni, Shia and Kurds divide the country. Iraq has never had a government that has reflected the interests of all three. It has always been an artificial state held together by the politics. The Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki leads a Shia government which stands off against the Sunni Arab community who believe him to monopolise power, and the Kurds in Kurdistan fight separately to both as they have a degree of, but not complete, self-government. ISIS, meaning the Islamic State of Iraq, and al-Sham, or Levant, or Syria, depending on where you hear it, are a radical Sunni group of insurgents who have been marching through northern and central Iraqi cities, taking them over before reaching Baghdad. ISIS have around 3,000 to 5,000 fighters and the support of other Sunni militant groups such as disaffected tribal fighters and Saddam-era officers and soldiers. They are led by their mysterious leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, of which only 2 photos of him are known to exist, and a $10 million bounty stands on his head. With under 1,000 fighters, ISIS captured Mosul on June 10th. Even though some 60,000 Iraqi soldiers defended the city, they fled, swapping their army uniforms for civilian clothing because they had no orders. ISIS then carried out a heist on Mosul's central bank, taking $256 million in cash and a large amount of gold bullion. ISIS has now taken over from al-Qaeda as the most powerful and richest extreme jihadi group in Iraq. They have taken Mosul, the oil-rich cities of Tikrit and Baiji, and they now threaten Baghdad. They have had control of Fallujah since January. The Iraqi military are fighting back with air forces targeting ISIS locations north of Baghdad. While this happens, footage emerges of captured Iraqi soldiers being tortured and killed. I'm about to show you this, but please be warned it contains graphic images, so turn away or click the annotation on the screen now to skip past it. ISIS has captured tanks and American hardware, some volunteered by the US, to work on their aim to create a state that stretches through Iraq and Syria. The Iraqi army is also well equipped with American and Russian equipment and is huge with over 1 million troops, but isn't battle hardened and has been criticised for lacking discipline and command. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards have sent troops into Iraq to strengthen the power of al-Maliki's government, but aside from this, the movements of the Sunnis in Iraq bring up the risk of destabilisation of the Iraqi government and their economic progress. And then there's Kurdistan. Tucked away north is Iraq's semi-autonomous Kurdish region run by the Kurdistan Regional Government with their Peshmerga forces. Their fighters, thought to be around 75,000, have taken control of cities deserted by Iraqi soldiers. They are picking up the pieces left behind, including that of Kirkuk, a city with a super-giant oil field. Kirkuk is the Kurds' spiritual capital. They've always wanted it, and now they have it. They have gained leverage over the Iraqi government in Baghdad. By taking Kirkuk, they have strengthened their position, and although the Kurdish say it is to protect the territory, which is true to a degree, they could still be looking at the long game. Alongside their gain of territories, their Peshmerga forces are also considered to be the best trained soldiers in Iraq. Kurdistan has billions invested into their oil fields, Exxon, Chevron, Total and more, and with the takeover of Kirkuk's supergiant field, their position in oil exports is strong. Although the major pipeline that carries Kurdish oil to Turkey has been offline during the conflict, and ongoing violence will prevent repairs. Kurdistan's moves during a time where al-Maliki's government is weakened could be one step closer to complete Kurdish independence. They have enough oil, and now they've proven they have enough force and power to defy Baghdad. They may well have taken these territories forever. Most Kurds believe Iraq as we know it will cease to exist. ISIS' main goal is to create a state through Syria and Iraq that will follow Sharia law, so they've been fighting both Assad, the rebels, and the Kurds. The US have been involved in the Syrian civil war since 2011, both arming and funding rebel groups, which has given ISIS power to enforce over Syria due to the weakened government. ISIS are not only taking on dictator Bashar al-Assad, but are fighting the anti-Assad rebels as well because they believe they aren't true Muslims. Obama is also contemplating airstrikes not just over Iraq, but over Syria too. A speculative reason for the West's involvement could simply be pipeline politics, such as plans for bypassing Russia's energy monopoly on Western Europe by building a gas pipe directly to them. Meanwhile, Assad has support from Iran, both in equipment and troops, because they share unique interests. They both hate the late Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein, they both hate US influence in the Middle East, and they both support Palestinian resistance against Israel. But despite their support of Assad and a long history of mutual distrust, the West are looking to them to help tackle the ISIS insurgency in Iraq. Iran has a strong, well-organised, disciplined military which could be very useful to stopping ISIS, both in Iraq and Syria. And then there's the Syrian Kurds. Although secular and known to be quite moderate, they will fight against anyone who encroaches on Kurdish lands in Syria, including militias loyal to both the government, the FSA and ISIS. It is said that the US-led invasion in 2003 created the insurgency of many angry Sunni Arabs fighting on behalf of Saddam Hussein. Many of these Sunnis now fight with ISIS. On the other hand, the US had no official involvement in Syria, and it has a similar state of crisis with a radical Islamist movement. Many politicians have spoken out about Iraq's current state, with Secretary of State John Kerry saying they are plotting against American and Western interests, and this from former UN mediator Lakhdar Brahimi.
Shias and Sunni they don't exist only in Iraq and Syria. They are in Lebanon, they are in Turkey, they are in Bangladesh, and in Pakistan, and in Central Asia.
The West has spent years investing in Iraq's future and has signed a series of service contracts with oil companies in Baghdad in 2010, with ExxonMobil, BP, Royal Dutch Shell, ENI, Gazprom, Lukoil and Chinese firms all involved. The Iraqi soldiers also benefited from $25 billion worth of training and equipment provided by the US before its withdrawal from Iraq. Obama has announced 275 US troops will be sent to Iraq to protect the US embassy based in the Green Zone of Baghdad and other American interests. They enter with the country's permission and will stay until they are no longer needed. As if he hasn't done enough when it comes to Iraq, Blair had something to say about it. Apparently the West should be worried that if ISIS get more power, they will use their wealth and influence to attack. There is also concern over ISIS recruiting Westerners to return to their homelands as extremists trained in combat. Foreign Secretary William Hague has said a number of Britons are in fact fighting with ISIS already, around 400 UK-linked nationals to date. So should the West intervene? Well, their main goal would be to defeat the jihadist forces and contain the violence from spreading further across Iraq, a goal similar to that of anti-terrorism. Military intervention could just add to the death toll and accelerate destabilisation. Iraq's borders have become blurred, leaving rival groups to fight for territory against a weakened central government.